Hello? Hello? We back? Good. That was weird and scary. Like, everything froze for a second and then really weird artifacting happened on my screen. And I could hear myself, so like parts of my computer were okay, but not everything, and it was very concerning. Where were we? Good question, where were we? A, where were we? And B, how many settings were reset? Can you remember that bit? Oh, that's the new default. Yes, fine. Right, okay. Let's try this again, shall we? Don't let this be my Dark Tide. Where Barrick can't run Dark Tide without his computer going crazy. Let it be that we don't get to this situation with me, because I would hate that to be the case. Worryingly so, like very worrying, I mean. Very much. So what actually happened on your end? Was it just like that, the like the blue screen with like the no connection thing? Was that what you all saw? Jesus. Blackness of the voice. Could you still hear me? You can still hear me, okay. I wasn't sure. Yeah, but something really weird happened there. I'll have to check the VOD afterwards. Alright, so we were doing all the talking. Screen black, nothing of it. Okay, cool. I was talking about Armored Core, yeah. Like I said, I'm looking forward to Armored Core 6. I am. Kind of want to ignore that we don't ignore the fact that Armored Core 5 ever happened. We don't need to pay attention to that, but going back to Armored Core 6, looking forward to that a lot. Alright, let's do a lot of stuff here. Silence. Be attacked by demons. I haven't played Armored Core since PS2. Yeah, same. The last not entirely true. I played Armored Core 5 for a bit, but it wasn't very good. So I think I gave it back. I refunded the game to the shop. I took it back for like a store credit or whatever, because it just wasn't very good. It had interesting ideas, I guess, and like trying to make like a living world that you could fight for and push like different players or in different factions or whatever, and you could like fight over like an imaginary map kind of thing. Like some RTSs have done similar things in the past. But the controls were weird. They very much changed how it played, and I didn't enjoy it. I'm looking forward to the new version. Again, hopefully they've kept what the good things from like Silent Line and 4 and 4 Answer, and sort of ignored everything else. I think I started with Silent Line, Armored Core 3 Silent Line, and then I played 4 and 4. I only actually played 3 of them, but I love them like hugely. I have of my models, 2 of them are Armored Cores. I have a model of White Glint and a model of the Noblesse Oblige, because they're really cool models. Like, they're really, really cool. I love the mech design in Armored Core. People don't actually know this, but Armored Core 4 was where Patches comes from. The Patches that appears in all the Souls games started off in Armored Core. Guaranteed 100% real. Like, all the patches in Demon Souls, Dark Souls, everything in Elden Ring, all the patches started in Armored Core. In Armored Core, there's a character called Patch the Good Luck, in a mech called the No Count, and in the Japanese translation, Patches is actually just called Patch, and every single time he's got lines that he says from Armored Core. In the Japanese versions, all that is lost in the translation. The localization removed all that because it was just like a nod to the old game, I guess, that they weren't paying attention. But the Patches is in the Soulsborne games is just the Patches in it's done by the same voice actor as well, the same Japanese voice actor. Anyway, let's carry on here. What are you doing here? I'm watching. She nods at the city dwellers as they hurry past. I'm listening to their conversations, studying their faces. I'm trying to understand what they truly are. Why'd you like to watch people? You know, in my old life, I thought I knew everything about them. I was a master of seduction after all. I knew how to tempt a mortal into doing anything I required. I could trap them in a lie, or lie myself and never get caught. It's disgusting to remember, but that was my life for many centuries. Now I see I knew nothing. A demon warrior probably also considers himself an expert on mortals because he's killed so many of them. He certainly knows where to thrust a spear for a quick death and where to thrust it for a long and painful one, and he thinks that's enough. My knowledge, it was of the same kind. I ruined many mortals without learning the first thing about them. Now I watch them to understand them. This won't give my victims back their lives, of course, but still, by growing closer to these mortals, it's like I'm paying back some part of my debt to the victim's memory. Have you learned anything new about mortals? They love cats! Rochelle speaks in a very serious manner, as if sharing an important scientific discovery with you. But then a moment later she smiles to get the joke away. Seriously, have your observations of humans led to anything? I wouldn't want to draw any rash conclusions. I've only been watching them for a short while, but I think I've understood one thing. The succubi have a saying, mortals always lie. If a mortal isn't talking, it means she's busy lying to herself. But now I see this isn't true. You mortals aren't liars, you're dreamers. Each of you creates a huge daydream for yourself, and everyone you share your life with. It isn't exactly a lie, because the daydream is your truth. Don't you think you're being a little creepy? What? Lucas blinks. Really? Why? I don't mean any harm. Ah, it's cool. Tell me about yourself. I'm afraid you won't like what I'm going to tell you. Where does Sakurai come from? Did you have a childhood? No. Well, yes, but in brief, the Abyss is nothing like the mortal world. Rochelle makes a gesture in the air, trying to find the right words. You remember life since conception? No, wait, you don't remember that part, do you? But certainly you know everything since birth. We do not. Normally, when a human dies, the Lady of Graves decides which plane they go to. Most often, those who arrive in the Abyss turn into larvae. You know, the little worms no one notices until you step on them. They crawl in the mud for centuries, devouring each other. And the strongest ones turn into demons. Lady of Graves is Pharasma, right? Yeah, Pharasma. I don't know how that transformation happens. Maybe we hatch out of them, like caterpillars out of butterflies? No, wait, that's the other way around. Or maybe greater demons sculpt us out of them, like so much clay. I don't know what happened to the larvae they used to make me. In my own memory, it begins with vague, fragmentary images. Terrors, executions, orgies. I remember some poor lad, half gnawed by the larvae. He was crying and begging to be killed, and I pointed at him and laughed and said I wouldn't. Desna, forgive me, I'm so ashamed. So how did you end up turning against the Abyss? Temptation. Rochelle smiles sadly. Strange, isn't it? So many people believe that being good is important, but it's boring and unpleasant. And all that's enjoyable and tempting pertains to evil. Even the servants of kind gods often think so, do they not? You have no idea how easy that makes the role of a temptress. Well, it was my great fortune to discover it was not always like that. My last... Rochelle looks away. My last victim was a priestess of Desna, the tender of dreams. As you know, demons do not sleep. Mortals always compare their greatest moments to dreams, so I decided it would be interesting to see for myself. And while I was at it, forgive me, goddess, to mock Desna. This priestess lay in my arms, dying of my kiss. I remember every smallest detail. The cold sweat on her skin, her eyes rolled back into her head, her weak whisper. It's so difficult to recount. Well, I dove into her mind to see what mortal dreams were like. But this goddess saw me in her realm, and it turned out I remained there far longer than I had planned. What did Desna do to you? As a punishment, she gave me mercy. I often think, why me? She could have easily have blown me away like smoke, with the flick of her finger. The gods rarely trouble themselves with the lives of mortals, and even less so with demons. But for reasons of her own, she paid me special attention. She awoke in me the memories of the sinners whose souls were used to create me. All those humans. I knew nothing of them until Desna showed me. Each one of them had their own dreams, and the world without pity trampled each of them and placed them on a path that led to the Abyss. Their memories, all their hopes and pains. I'm sorry, it's hard for me to talk about this. You see tears well up in the succubus's eyes. Rochelle wipes away her tears and continues. The most important thing I realized was that every mortal is a little world of hopes and dreams, and that although I might be a succubus, I didn't have to live forever with those beastly boring pleasures and tortures of the Abyss. I can be free. I I can be myself. If only I can understand who I am. Desna calls out to the best in people. If she gave you a chance, it means there's some good deep inside you. She saw that you were not beyond salvation. I find that hard to believe. I remember what I was back then. It shames me to remember it. It frightens me to remember it. But the goddess is wise, isn't she? Wise and insightful. Among all the filth, garbage, sharp spikes, and broken bones, amidst that nightmare that was my soul, or whatever demons have instead of a soul, she found a grain of goodness that, by some miracle, had got lost there. A treasure inside me that I had no idea even existed. The demon presses her palm against her heart. It is still there. I can feel it. I must preserve it. Preserve it and cleanse myself of all the remaining filth. That won't be easy, but I can do it. After all, the goddess will help me. And you will too. You don't know who you are? What of you? Do you know who you are? Are there many mortals who can make that claim? Before returning me to the mortal realm, Desna whispered something to me. I can still hear her words. She asked me, and what do you dream of? And I don't know. I still don't. You see, demons are simple creatures. Ushale purses her lips. Each is guided by 2 or 3 strong sins. Before my conversion, my sins were all that I was. A ball of desire without anyone behind them doing the desiring. Desires for sex, for flattery, and food. But now I have me. And it's amazing. It's so complicated. Ushale makes an apologetic gesture and smiles. So what did you do after Desna converted you? I traveled. In the beginning I thought it wise to keep away from demons and their temptations. Run off to Absalom, or perhaps even further, to another plane. But then I realized that I didn't deserve freedom yet. The abyss was still in me. It called to me, tempting me, seducing me. If I ran away, I would soon return to my old habits. Ushale forces the word from her mouth. That's why I came here, to join the war. To remember who my enemy is. To defeat the demons. Not just for the mortal world, for myself as well. Because if I don't kill my past, it'll always be reaching for me. I'm a wonderful liar. I'm no longer proud of it, but it's still true. The demons never suspected my treason until the very end. I lived as a spy, and regularly reported back to the priests of Desna whenever I'd learned. Naturally, I concealed my identity from them as well. I would never have been caught, but when I learned that Descari was planning an attack on Canabras, there was no time for caution. I risked everything to warn you, and paid with my freedom. Thank you for not running from evil, but confronting it. Yes, I'm glad that I did. But, you know, it's hard. Evil calls me back. Every day. And when it's so close, what if one day I grow tired of fighting? So, do you worship Desna now? The goddess did a lot for me. More than I ever deserved. And asking anything more of her would be impudent. I am grateful to her, but I try not to trouble her with my prayers. May I ask you a personal question? The kind of question a mortal might ask a succubus? You want to talk about sex? Ushale looks you in the eye. Ask me anything. I'll not keep secrets from you. But don't expect to hear anything light-hearted or pleasant. The kiss of a succubus is deadly, isn't it? Not just a kiss. Any caress of any kind sucks the life from mortals. And there's nothing I can do about it. Ushale touches her lips ever so slightly. For mortals, tenderness is tenderness and violence is violence. But I don't know what it's like to kiss and not inflict pain. I just hope my observations of mortals will help me understand. Young lovers, old spouses, even what mortals condemn as promiscuity. To me, it all looks like something amazingly human. Wait, you mean you don't just watch people during the day out in the street? What? Wait, you mean you don't just watch people during the day out in the street? Well, I never touch anyone. I never harm anyone. I just watch and listen. Is that bad? No, it's not bad. Just don't get caught. I can promise you that. The succubus smiles. So what is sex between demons? Everything demons do is sort of cannibalism. Each devours mortals and other demons in their own way. Some enjoy tearing pieces of flesh with their teeth. Others like to subdue and turn their prey into slaves and living tools. Some feed on others' humiliation. It comes in different forms, but the essence is always the same. Another being is an object to be used for your own pleasure. Demon sex isn't different from any other type of violence. In my former life, it was something I did to others and others did to me. Only one person ever received pleasure, not the other. You still feel desire? Ushale keeps a long silence and searches for the right words. You see, on the one hand, my succubus nature remains with me. The desire I feel is the one from my old life. When I look at any mortal, I immediately imagine how... She looks away. But feeling that desire, it's not what mortals feel. When you like someone, you don't ponder how good it would feel to drink their soul, do you? You think about how good it would feel to be together. Together, you see. You know how to want someone, and at the same time not want to destroy them? For me, it's always one and the same. True despair rings in Urushali's voice. I'm not even talking about love, just the common mutual affection of mortals when they're not poisoned with violence. Now I know that I've never felt it. It's hard to imagine how it's even possible. I don't want to start hitting on her. She does not respond well to that, I think. Thank you for being so open. Tell me about life in the Abyss. I can't tell you all about all the Abyss. I've only seen a small part. If you like, I can tell you about the Midnight Isles and Illusionera. Well, tell me about the Midnight Isles. In the ocean of Ishiar, not far from the mouth of the river Styx, there's a chain of islands. This is the realm of Nocticula, the queen of the succubi. There is no sun there, only a moonlit night, alternating with a moonless one. Each of the islands is one of Nocticula's trophies, the remains of a powerful entity that perished at her hands. As you see, you cannot take a step in the abyss without treading on corpses. Tell me about Illusionera. The periphery city is Nocticula's capital. There's no city like it in the mortal world. Absalom is a village in comparison. Millions, I don't exaggerate, millions of demons and mortals live there. Some come voluntarily, not only from Galarian, but from other planes as well. Nocticula keeps an open boundary and enjoys having many guests, merchants, and travelers in the city. Some arrive in trains. The slave trade is the most thriving business in the city. From afar, the city may seem a merry place. Many of its dwellers do enjoy themselves, until it's their turn to become someone else's toy. It's a city of suffering, Chandra. Of cheerful, festive torments that everyone in the city inflicts on those around them. What are some places of interest in Illusionera? The heart of the business quarter is the flesh markets, where the slave trade takes place. I grew up in the mansion of Lady Valexia. Her house is always full of guests doing their best to entertain her. Those whose performance is not to her liking risk remaining at her house forever. The main attraction of the Succubi city is of course the brothels. The 10,000 delights. I need not tell you what they offer. If you can imagine it, someone is selling it. Not far from there you can find the Harem of Ardent Dreams, which serves as a sort of city hall. Shamira, Nocticula's right hand and mayor of Illusionera, receives her visitors there. For those who prefer bloodier sport, there are many arenas in the city. The most famous of them is the Battle Bliss. Battles run continuously, without breaks and without rules. It doesn't matter what trickery you use to win, it only matters how much fun the crowd is having. And above it all, the House of Silken Shadows, Nocticula's palace. Hundreds, thousands of towers and domes adorned with jewels. There are legends of what happens inside. Many have striven to experience the delights of the Succubi's Queen Palace, forgetting that it was built for her pleasure, not theirs. What can you tell me about Nocticula? She's called the Lady in Shadow. They say that she was the first succubus. She's far from the most powerful of the demon lords, but this hasn't kept her from being the ruin of many creatures significantly more powerful than herself, even building her kingdom upon their bones. They say that, like Lamashtu, she strives to turn herself from a demon lord into a true goddess. She enjoys killing, but her favorite tools are seduction and deception. She only stoops to crude violence when there are no other games to play, and even then she backstabs from the shadows. Her favorite weapon is a crossbow, though a silk garrote would suit her better. If you'd ever meet her, do not believe a word she says, and do not fall for her provocations. Do not try to beat her at her own game, and most importantly, remember, the worst mistake anyone can make is to underestimate her. Thank you. And what do you think of the powers I gave you? It's a great temptation. I don't know if I should be trusted with such great power. I certainly wouldn't trust myself with it. When you have so much power, it's easy to decide you're a god and the mortals are your toys. Perhaps I should wait until after we defeat the forces of the Abyss, That's precisely what these powers are for. She thinks for a moment, then speaks softly. You take a great risk. I'm not sure I can handle the temptation. It's hard enough as it is. I have to go. I will be watching you. Right, you done you? Sealer time. Peanut butter sealer time. Oh, that's not you. Wrong. There you are. Good days and clear skies. What do you say? Where are we off to today? Nope. Nothing special from you. Anything inside here? Nope. Anything inside the barracks?
So exciting!
Isn't it just? Adventures of the Brim the Crusader. Again, we'll read that. Just make sure we don't actually need to read it. Oh, okay, and I forgot I was going to give you Headcracker, wasn't I? Cracker. And I was gonna. Oh, I had cracker. I was gonna give you the spear. It's two-handed. It's two-handed. Fair enough. You can take it for when you're riding the boar. Anything up there? Nope. Ooh, Elan. Gotta talk to you, don't I? Apparently not, really. Apparently not. I thought I had to talk to you about something. Guess I didn't. Is there a basement here? I feel like there should be a basement here. Anything up here? No, nothing up here. Can he actually go down? No, he can't even go down. I thought he could climb down from the outside, but that is not the case. Go over this door to steal it on the way out. Ooh, book. Know thy enemy. I think we've even seen that book before. That book was a book I needed to read to level stuff up, I think. I think I got a perk from that, don't I? I think I got a perk from that. Class. No, abilities. Know thy enemy. Here you go. Know thy enemy. Crusader's Brief. Gives me a +1 insight bonus on perception and stealth checks. Ooh. Nope, still stuck up here. Damn it.
How cute!
Scratchy, 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 scratchy. Right. This. Talk to Wendu real fast.
The world is full of wonder.
Wendu's down here. Hi, Wendu. Mistress, how can I serve you? Am I imagining things, or do you find me attractive? Wendu smiles playfully in return. Maybe I do. I like people like you. People who are strong, determined, who don't hide behind others. You're not only attracted to men, then. The warrior casts a sidelong look at you. Men think they're irreplaceable in bed. But you and I understand that two women can give each other pleasure that men could even dream of. I like you too. Then why am I here and not in your bed already? Wendu smirks and snaps her teeth playfully, showing off her sharp fangs. If you want me, I'm not opposed to the idea, but I've long been wondering if you are as good in bed as you are in battle. Thank you for talking to me, mistress.
So exciting!
We're going for cat waifu, I think. Is everything here? Abandoned buildings, go over there. There are all the buildings first. Chest. Shiny chitin. There's something over there as well.
With grace?
Soldier humor. Make sure we're not going to get any buffs from this stuff. Ooh, almost lost that one. Yep. Bloodshot eyeball. How many heads are we at the moment? Still on 5? Still on 5. Crooked paw. Oh, I thought this was going to be part of the. I thought we were gonna. This is gonna lead into Chronicle of Failure. 4640. I thought this was gonna lead into the dungeon. Guess not. No dungeon from this house. Okay, and then it's the dungeon. The dungeon's up there, isn't it? That's the prison. This is just house. Just houses. House-eye. Anything in there? Nope. Anything in here?
How cute!
Some bone meal. Bone meal and blood vials. Why do you have blood vials? This is very concerning. This is a house with a lot of blood in the basement and bone meal. Guards, come search this house immediately. Come search the house. They're keeping blood in the basement. If that's happening, something's very wrong is going on. Right, Ember? Ember, social... Prison, maybe? Oh, yeah.
Is there trouble?
What's name's body's in the prison, isn't it?
With Grace.
Hey, Ember. Cool. Nothing new from you. Social. Anything new from you? Nope. Anything new from you? Oh, the board's already big. Oh, you're a big boar already. Oh, fine. Let's see what we can do with you then. Right. Animal companion, you're going to be a bully because you can trip attack anyway. You can trip because you've got a gore attack, so the more bonuses you get to your trippiness will be better. Bullying thrill. Whenever you succeeded at overrun or trip, they gain a morale bonus and attack and damage rolls until the next turn. Improved evasion. Is that even relevant? We lose multi-attack. Which is you don't need that much, you only have one attack anyway. I think you're a boar, you only get the gore attack, so that's actually okay. You don't need multi-attack. Aggressor gives us power attack and bleeding strike. Bully keeps evasion as well, which is beneficial. Might keep bully then. Yeah, I'll keep bully. Bully. Mobility athletics, obviously. Feet for you. When making a trip attack, you add your dex bonus to the CMB. Where's your stats? I might have to go back real fast because I don't know what your stats are. That's the problem. I don't actually know what your stats are right now. What do you even take? Fury's Fall, Greater Trip. Greater Trip requires an intelligence of 13, so that's not happening. That's not happening at all. Never mind. Tandem Trip, possibly? Whenever you make a trip attempt on a combat maneuver against an enemy threatened by an ally with this feat, you can roll twice and take the better result. Pummeling Bully. You need to be Monk for that. Disarming Strike, you need to have 13 for that. Fury's Fall? I mean, sure, I guess. Hang on. What is your dex bonus? Do we know? No, you don't have a dex bonus. You have massive amounts of strength, but you don't get a dex bonus, so I don't think Fury's Fall is even relevant to you. We'll take standard things like dodge. No, you can't even take dodge. Your dex isn't high enough for dodge. Christ. Your dex isn't even high enough for dodge. Hang on. I'm going to think about this now. Your dex isn't how... Really? That's actually kind of concerning. Die Hard, I guess. Works as you're a boar after all. Die Hard. Right then. 9th of the 12th. Today's date. Discombobulator, was it? The Discombobulator. I want that level of pun, but I do think it's a bit long. Ioane kind of works well. Shaylin. Can we get Shaylin to work with pigs in any way? There's no link to Shaylin and pigs, is there? We can't link that to boars or pigs or... Shaylin. What do you suggest? Tiny would be amusing. Monarch, Barb, Sowlin. Sowlin. It's not as immediate as Iomine, though. Like, I know it's not really as immediate. Iomine is, like, the best name. I do not remember. I feel genuinely bad that I cannot remember exactly who came up with Iomine in chat, because it is the best name for Seela's horse ever. You will never beat that name for Seela's horse. Even make it, Lynn. Just come... You can make it, it's just really long. Just come probably later. Okay, hang on. Bartholomew? Instead of Bartholomew, it's Bartholomew. It might be what I go for. Bartholomew. It's that level of pun we're going for. Unfortunately, boars only have a proper onomatopoeia for the noise they make, so I can't work in that. Oink is too hard to work and it doesn't really fit. Squee. And we'll go with Bartholomew for now. Borty. Kevin Bacon. That's not a bad one either. Borty the boar. Borty McBoarface. Rather than Bory McBoarface, maybe? No, Boaty McBoatface is Bory McBoarface. Kevin Bacon's not a bad name though. It's just this, like, if this was like a more modern game, I think it would probably do Kevin Bacon. It just doesn't work in Pathfinder though. Not that Bory McBoarface is any better in that regard. I'm gonna go with Bory McBoarface for now. We might have to re-roll it later on. Right, so just quickly do. Really? You're gonna make me go? Okay. Don't make me do one by one, please. Let me just keep going. Thank you. Let's get you some armor proficiencies as well, because we want you to be able to defend yourself if you have to. Take 1 point of intelligence, always. Level 5. Weapon focus, don't want to focus. Medium barding. Did I give Social? You're still level 6. Do you have outflank? Did I give you out? Was I clever enough to give you outflank? I gave you outflank. Perfect. Level 7, you get outflank. Level 8. Good. Got 19 constitution, you got 24 strength. Keep putting it into strength. And level 10 is the level 9. Again, what is your dex at the moment is like non-existent, right? +1 dex. So you're gonna get +1 to your drop rolls if need be. Um, you can take dodge now, can't you? No? It's currently 12. Damn, it needs to be 13. And you'll pick it up eventually. You'll pick it up eventually. Um... Lunge. Oh yeah, they stealth added lunge as a feat. I forgot they stealth added lunge as a feat. That's crazy. Like they added this in a recent patch, and it doesn't mention it anywhere. That lunge is now in as a feat. You can just take. You increase the reach of your melee attacks by 5 feet until the end of your turn, taking a -2 penalty behind your AC, which lets people be like it lets people hang around the back line behind your tank and be melee, and basically say, screw AC, I'm not going to get hit at all. Just stay behind the main line and just still poke with damage. It means like any frontliner doesn't have to worry about it. Any kind of slayer or rogue or whatever who is fragile in combat but needs to do melee attacks anyway can completely ignore AC and just focus on damage because they're going to be out of range for everyone anyway. Power attack for you. Skill focus, spell penetration. Spell penetration, that'd be funny. Vital strike. I don't think you can do that because you specifically needed the tripping stuff, don't you? You get a free trip. You get a free trip attempt. Combat reflex. Coordinating moves. Combat expertise. You can't get. Your intelligence isn't over. Expertise. You haven't got the intelligence for that, which would be useful to use for your like +4 to your trip attack, but honestly, what's your take a will saving throw maybe? Take Iron Will. Bullying Thrill. Oh, because it's 14, that's after the animal level companion bonus. Right, fine. Level 10. There. I don't think I actually level you up at all, do I? Ivu. Ivu doesn't actually get leveled up by me in any way, shape, or form. I have no control over Ivu's leveling. Ivu's stats, of course, are through the bloody roof. Legend that Ivu is. Okay, did all this. Did they? So, what's this? Who are you? Oh yeah, you're the guy who we met upstairs, isn't he? Old Kiar gives you a friendly smile. Can the Everbright Crusaders be of service to you, Commander? The Crusader turns to the young lad standing next to him and wags his finger at him with ostentatious strictness. Morvag, keep it to yourself. If you keep interrupting your elders, you'll be mucking out the stables for a week. I want to ask you a few questions about yourself. About me, Kiar Koblin, or the ever-glorious, ever-bright Crusader and leader of my order? A young man standing next to Kiar casts a look at his fuzzy grey hair and mumbles, leader of the order, also known as Sir Dandelion. The old man turns to the lad and reprimands him loudly but kindly. Morvag, you insolent Kellid whelp, show some respect for your mentor's age, or do you think you'll never grow old yourself? Who's the lad that keeps following you around? Kiar smiles warmly and with deep-seated pride. This is Morvag. He is a Kellid from these parts. When the world would open, his family was forced to flee. What a life they had. Poor, always hungry, cast aside by the world. When they didn't have any bread, they fed on rage and vengeance. We caught this boy on the road. He was walking north, to Dresden, to kill demons. Dirty, gaunt, just looking at him made you want to weep. We picked him up, trained him. He is hot-headed and lacks discipline, but he's also smart and brave. When I look at him, I see the future of the Everbright Crusaders. Well, tell me about your order, then. The Everbright Crusaders are not the oldest order, but our traditions are solid. For us, fighting the world wound is not a war, it's our service. We dedicate our lives to it and also our souls. We have high standards and live under many restrictions. We have no families, drink no liquor, play no games of chance, accumulate no wealth, and own no lands, even if we are entitled to them by birth. We reject everything that distracts us, that draws us to a peaceful life, for our hearts are always turned to war. But war is grim. It's a grim, ugly thing that makes wicked everyone who takes part in it, and we keep our hearts pure so that we're not left sickened by war, so that our light does not fade. because darkness can only be overcome by light. Want to know about your past? The old man scratches his thinning, fuzzy hair. About my life before the Order. It was so long ago. As a boy, I decided there was too much evil in the world. Someone had to do something about it. Try to fix it. I decided to become a priest. But then I saw the ever-bright Crusaders. So proud, so pure. And then someone next to me said, "What arrogant snobs." And he was right. We ever-bright Crusaders usually are a little arrogant. So I thought, maybe these invincible snobs could use the help and companionship of such simple and warm-hearted lad like myself. Who knew that years later I would become their leader. No more questions. Bye. A dark-eyed young man looks like a typical Khalid greets you politely. He casts a deferential look at Kiar, his mentor standing next to him. A simple straw figure in the shape of a wolf hangs from the boy's neck. How can I help you, Commander? Who are you? My name is Morvag. My family used to live here in Sarkoris. The world wound forced us to flee, made us homeless. Most of our clan died of starvation and disease. We've been wandering the river kingdoms, begging, losing people, but we've never forgotten who we were and where we came from. When I heard another crusade had been declared, I came here to fight the demons and claim vengeance for the homeland of my ancestors. And what do you think of Kiar? The boy looks at the old man standing next to him with a sincere gratitude. He's got a big heart. He picked me up, gave me food and clothes, took me on as an apprentice, although I was no one to him. You know, us vagabonds don't often come across generosity like that. Kiar is kind to me, but my master's nature's too soft. He doesn't understand that it's impossible to keep your soul pure when you fight demons. We Khalids of Sarkoris have learnt this bitter truth. We know that any means are justified for fighting demons, but Kiar can't see we're right. We've played for the privilege of hindsight with a sea of blood and the loss of our homeland. I have to go. Good luck to you, Commander. We lost everybody. Bye. Citizen, peasant, one-eyed devil, inn. One-eyed devil, hello. A short, chubby tiefling with a golden eye patch spits chewing tobacco between his feet and takes another pinch of tobacco box adorned with jewels. A good fine day to you, Commander. Welcome to the One-Eyed Devil's trading house. His proud manner suggests that each word begins with a capital letter, and perhaps even continues in capital letters as well. A trading house is just a shop. Ah, that depends. There was a time when I had nothing in my pockets but holes, but did I consider myself poor? No, I consider myself a rich man who was temporarily down on his luck. Optimism is important not only on the battlefield, Commander. You are the leader of a victorious army that will be chopping all the demons into mincemeat sooner or later. I am the owner of a trade empire, which, as you see, is only starting to grow. How did it... Wow, really? That's a stupid question. We know exactly how this works. How did a tiefling end up on the side of the Crusaders? The answer is simple. The simplest thing there is. This is a good world, and I like living in it. Besides, it's the only one we've got. I'd love to know what's going on in the heads of the dimwits who are helping the demons destroy it. My best guess is that the horns grow inward, so there's no room for brains. I'm from Cheliax. Tieflings don't surprise anyone there, and they don't like demons any more than we do here. And why should they? The gods went to all the trouble of creating this world. Even Lord Asmodeus and his devils helped with the construction, and now these freeloaders show up after all the hard work is done just to gorge and break things. It doesn't matter who you pray to. If you want to live, it's your duty to help. Isn't that a risky store name for Crusaders? Ah, yes. A week ago doesn't go by with some dimwit boiling over. Well, they don't pay me to explain the difference between allies and enemies, devils and demons. Lord Asmodeus and all the riffraff like Baphomet and Descari, so they can go hang. The tiefling spits between his feet and swiftly places another pinch of chewing tobacco in his mouth. Here's what I think. You like it, you buy it. You don't like it, keep moving. If you're spoiling for a fight, take yourself off to the tavern. Why are your prices so high? We're taking the word from demons. That includes you. That's some claim. Did you hear that, good people? First of all, my prices are perfectly fair. They're no higher than you'd find anywhere else. Second, who's saving who here? Are you prepared to eat bark and fight with rocks and sticks? You know, I have open contracts with a dozen suppliers. I arrange deliveries and do whatever it takes to get you sharper weapons, better magical items, better food, and you're throwing the extra expense in my face? This is the thanks I get for all the honest work. And what happened to your eye? Should I make up a story about the heroic fight with a horde of demons? Truth be told, this is how it happened. Back when I was a snot-nosed kid, I had just opened my first business selling pies on the street. The local lads quickly took notice of me and offered me protection in return for a small share of the profits. The usual, you know. But I was so young, inexperienced, and greedy, so I told them to bugger off. Well, they caught me and taught me a lesson. They took it too far, though. I paid for the lesson with my eye, not just bumps and bruises. It's funny to remember it now, but back then when it was happening, I was so scared. I thought they'd beat me to death. I remember I came home running home in tears, and my mom just started screaming. I didn't have a clue why. And when I looked in the mirror and I saw there was just shreds and mush where one of my eyes should be, I remembered that lesson all my life. Ever since that day, when I start a business, I find some reliable business partners first. If I'd been born in a merchant family, my parents would have warned me about this, and about many other things too. But I was a poor lad, so I had to learn everything the hard way. It's a miracle how many times I escaped death by a hair's breadth. In fact, it's lucky all I lost was one eye. I can afford a new one now, of course. But you know, I just can't find the time. It'll cost a tidy sum, and I don't want to take it out of earnings. Besides, being the one-eyed devil is a big selling point for me. I'd be a fool to get my eye back only to have it keep it hidden under a patch. You've heard of my new powers. What do you make of them? People are saying bad things about you, Commander. To be clear, the speakers may not see everything bad in what they say, but I do. They say you're the chosen of Desna, the most insignificant of all the goddesses. The only thing she knows how to do is flap her butterfly wings and meddle in the affairs of others. They also say you're not a patch on the other crusade leaders, that you'll accept absolutely anyone under your banner. A former thief, a goblin, a kobold, even a stump with eyes. And you've got quite the troublesome pet. I could understand a serious battle dragon, but this little misbegotten thing with dragonfly wings? She gives you as much trouble as a flock of hundreds of sparrows, and what good does that do you? It's bad business to associate with such creatures. I prefer devils myself, as the terms are clearly laid out in the contract. What are you selling me? Flame tongue, mix of spices, some cheese, some butter, some scrolls, infiltrator's armor, haramaki, light armor +1 haramaki, the lightest of armors. That's even lighter than leather, isn't it? Leather's 2 base, haramaki is 1 base, but absolutely no penalty, no arcane failure chance as well. It's armor for mages. It is, however, light armor, which means you still need the proficiency to be able to use it, but it's armor for mages. Hide barding, chain shirt barding, holy rapier +2, thundering scythe, mithril flail, undead bane great club, apprentice lockpicks, expert lockpicks. 10,000. Too much. What are we selling? Apparently something worth 72 has been put here, and I have no idea what it is. What are we singing? No sorting at all. Bulk sell, return. What are we selling? What is worth 72 that I'm giving away here? Because clearly, whatever it is, it's not leaving a gap in the stores. I'm very confused. Whatever it was, it's sold. And it's not here. We have something invisible that we just sold. It didn't come out of here. It didn't turn up over here. We just sold something for 72. Okay, so we did this one. We did that one. One-Eyed Devil, Jewelry Artisan, Half Measure Tavern, Inn. Peasant Citizen. Loot. Purifying Solutions, we want those. I'm just, I have...
This is my time.
This is going to be problematic, because I'll never have the skills to pick this.
There's something over there.
Yes, there is. Crusade Chronicles. Some Elemental Essence. To the 2nd floor, I guess. Nobles and Commoners. Listen in. Oh, hey, Hilor. Oh, Nenio, hello. So, the experiment. Nenio gestures excitedly. I will need some supplies for this one. Girl, please bring me a bottle of alcohol. Any will do. And please hurry up. Science can't wait. Why would you need alcohol? I've already told you. It's for an experiment. Hurry and bring it to me. What kind of experiment? This will be an experiment of a personal nature. Nenio sheepish. But no less exciting for that. Mark my words. I'll come back when I have a bottle because I want to save before this happens. Nenio needs alcohol. Any will do. For experiment. Urgent. You're gonna get drunk. Let's go with just carry on just looking over here. Anything in here? No. Anything in here? No. Anything in... There's something in there. We have some booze. Let's listen in here real fast then. I think I've got enough perception for this.
Easy.
One old Kellid told this my brothers and me on his deathbed, and then he died, but no one knows about this but us. I know this is their sacred forest. They prayed in the meadow of the spirits. Shamanic relics, you say? A big treasure. It sounds like a lie. Everything was collected, carried away, and buried in that cave. Let's speed up a bit, come on. The scouts say a bear lives in those forests, a terrible one. There must be magic guards in the cave. That's why we suggest you come with us. We'll split the treasure equally. Okay, this is a... Okay. Right, Nanya, let's get shit-faced. I brought a bottle of alcohol for you. Nenio snatches the bottle out of your hand and stares at it with all the covetousness of a seasoned alcoholic. Here it is, my path to learning the true values of humanity from the perspective of the lowliest man on the street. She produces a corkscrew from her sleeve and looks at it in bafflement, then at the bottle, then at the corkscrew again. After which she hands the bottle back to you. Open it! This experiment definitely won't work if we don't open it. Do you always carry a corkscrew up your sleeve? Don't be preposterous, but I'm always meticulous when it comes to preparing for my experiments. I plan for every eventuality. Alright, I admit it, it's not true, but I've truly prepared for this particular experiment. And what's this experiment going to be about? I'm taking a huge risk in this experiment. I'm putting my reputation, my good name, and even my future on the line. With the help of this bottle, I will lower myself to the level of the average man on the street, and will try to understand the mentality of someone wholly devoid of intelligence. You surely know, maybe even from personal experience, that alcohol dampens mental activity and is a catalyst for stupidity. With a brain like mine, alcohol is the only way to find out how it feels to be an idiot. You're talking as if you never tried alcohol before. I haven't. I never saw the point of it. So you're asking me to be your drinking buddy. Not at all. I'll do the drinking alone. Your role in this experiment will be to include standing there and providing me with a visible reaction to my inevitable temporary degradation. Fine. Let's get started. Well, let's begin. With the steely resolve of a warrior going into his last battle, Nenio takes a big gulp straight from the bottle. What? That's disgusting. After she overcomes the urge to vomit, she looks at you with teary eyes. How do you all drink this? I'm doing this for the sake of science. Another gulp. Oh, that should be enough. Now, am I stupid yet? Quick, ask me about something smart. What is a Linorm? Linorms are a type of dragon that possesses a strong connection to the first world. They have no inborn talent for spellcasting, but they can cast curses. By the way, did you know that a sleeping Linorm is bound to the wake if you kick it really hard in its... It would appear I'm not drunk enough yet. Then he takes another swig from the bottle. Right. It seems to be working. Now, I need to come up with an idea right now. I usually have a ton of ideas. Let's see now. Tiscari and Baphomet, their anti-Crusader alliance is not effective enough. They need to unite their forces on a physical level. Baphomet needs to mount Tiscari and ride him into battle, 2-on-1. Yes, the experiment was successful. I am definitely drunk. She takes another gulp from the bottle to further confirm her conviction. How does it feel to be drunk for the first time in your life, from a scientific point of view? I definitely have become more stupid. More than that, I am as dumb as a box of rocks, and right now I don't give a rat's ass about science. Wait, I think I've got it. That's how men on the street see science? They don't give a rat's ass about it. Who cares what a Linorm is and where it lives? Nenio says with a vague wave of her hand. If it's not wine and you can't drink it, what's the point? Congratulations, I guess. Now what? That's it for now. The experiment was a success. Just a moment, Nenio stares at you with glazed eyes, shakes her head, and exhales loudly. When she meets your gaze again, her eyes are crystal clear. Alright, I'm fine now. What was that? What was what? A moment ago you were drunk as a skunk and now all of a sudden you're stone cold sober. Is that so? Nenio looks at the bottle in her hand, thoughtfully licks her lips and nods. It seems that is indeed what happened. Clearly, I decided to forget the incident entirely, because I no longer need this information. What I need now is to write an article for the encyclopedia about the influence that alcohol has on an individual's mind. So you can simply forget you were drunk and sober up, just like that? I have simply blocked the deleterious effects of alcohol from my mind. To put it in basic terms, I just forgot I consumed alcohol. The mechanism is similar to the one I used to get rid of irrelevant memories. It's not overly complicated, if you know how to do it. Your abilities are just amazing. What? What were we talking about? Alright, happy I could help. On behalf of future generations, I formally thank you for your assistance in this momentous experiment. I have time to answer your questions. Come on, ask away. Oh god, Nenio. Nenio, you legend. Sobering up just because you forgot you were drunk. Anything. Ah. Oh, that was a good one. Wow. Some very good cracks today. Whew. Hilor. Something. The Spinner of Nightmares. Congratulations on taking Dresden, Commander. It's a great victory, although you paid for it with much blood. Its smell still hangs in the air. I remember the smell well. The last time the air reeked like this was the most horrible day of my life. The day I nearly caught the Spinner of Nightmares. Tell me about how you almost caught the Spinner of Nightmares. Hilor's graze goes heavy. It was 6 months ago. We got a lead to where to look for her. a lonely inn along the road. We arrived, disguised as travelers. I never took off the Eye of Truth for a moment. Pillar carefully takes out and wipes his magic monocle. We quickly identified her cronies, but the Spinner of Nightmares was nowhere to be found. I lost hope and gave the order to arrest the cultists. Managed it quickly and without any losses. The Spinner of Nightmares appeared on a stage where passing bards were performing. She sang a funny little children's song, and the guests of the inn went mad. Their eyes turned bloodshot and they attacked us in a rage. They grabbed whatever came to hand and tried to kill us. Stools, forks, their bare hands, and even their teeth. We were forced to defend ourselves. When it was over, we were covered in blood. 31 butchered corpses lay at our feet. They wouldn't stop fighting even after their guts were dragging across the floor. The air reeked of blood, guts and shite. I was barely able to clamber out. My legs refused to walk across that slimy muck. Once I made it outside, there was only the night and the steppe, and her laughter. The delighted, mocking laughter of a child who pulled off a prank. It arched from horizon to horizon. As it echoed in my mind, I lost consciousness and fell to the ground. Hiller's story ends with a helpless sigh. The Pathfinder massages his eyes with his fingers as if trying to push away horrific images he envisions. Cool. We'll go. We cleared this one out. We cleared the inn. We got the dungeon, or the prison, and the tavern to go. In the prison, of course, is the corpse of Staunton Vane. Which kind of makes me want to get a Lich character up to here and see what happens. Oh, the jewelry artisan as well. Where are we? Oh, Fort Autumn Haze. Hi, buddy. Yeah, we took. Yeah. Right, jewelry artisan. Golden golem, but not the prestidigitation golem. Welcome to the shop of Darek Sunhammer, the finest jewelry in all of Mendev. True artistry, crafted by the master himself and his apprentices. Take a look. Bracers, razor protection, headbands. Darek Sunhammer jewelry. An item of interest to salesman or collector. A merchant will pay well for it. I'm not paying 25,000 for that unless I have a reason to. I think the whole point is that Darek Sunhammer is missing, isn't he? I think in a lot of the things we've seen so far, Darek Sunhammer has actually gone missing. So it makes sense he's not there. That was a very similar stock to the jewelry trader in the southwest bit of the city, like down there. But yeah, similar stock, and in the Half Measure Tavern. Noble, 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 noble. I Fi the tavern keeper, peasant, peasant, peasant. Peasant, 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 noble, peasant, 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 noble, peasant, 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 noble. Greyboar. Okay, Greyboar's over there. Greyboar's part of the stuff we need to talk to you about. Let's talk to Fi the tavern keeper, though. The boy sitting on the counter looks about 18. He salutes you with dignity, though his eyes scarcely rise from the tavern's ledger. The Knight Commander at my establishment. What an honor. My name is Fi Kaito. I am the owner of the Half Measure. How should I address you? I ask because some don't like undue familiarity, while others scoff at the tediousness of ceremony and titles. You can call me the Armored You can call me the Armored Armadillo for all I care. Your Commanderness, are you sure? I'm going to remember that, you know. Fi smiles mischievously. I'm absolutely sure. Out of respect for the whims of the hero of Dresden, the Armadillo it is. So what can I do for you? Wine? A meal? A heart-to-heart talk? How is it that such a young lad owns a tavern? Before the siege of Dresden, the Half Measure belonged to a distant relative. I wouldn't bore you with the details of how his family died. Just 3 words. Demon worshippers and sacrifice should be enough. Now that the city has been liberated, the authorities in Iode Church will be returning what remains to the lawful heirs of the deceased. They take things seriously in Mendev. Fi suddenly slaps himself on the forehead. We started talking about the inn, I remembered. I wanted to thank you for personally defeating the demon in this very tavern when the city was liberated. Without you, who knows how many glasses would have been smashed before the Crusaders got to him. So please accept my thanks from the bottom of my heart. Oh yeah, that was like the massive demon that Nenio like one-shot with Phantasmal Killer. Nice. The Half Measure is a strange name for a tavern. Oh, that's a family story. It's not for the faint-hearted, but you're not one of those, are you? One day before the wardstones were erected, a peasant family got lost on the way to the fair and ended up near the borders of the Worldwound. They stumbled upon a bored demon who killed the father right away. He then asked the mother if she'd prefer him to take all her children or only half of them. The sobbing woman looked at her 3 darlings and said half. The demon promptly cut the arms and legs of all 3 of the children and said, I guess that's even, and disappeared. People across Dresden heard this story after the family found shelter at a local temple of Iomade. For many years, they saved up for a regeneration spell so the children could be made whole again. They eventually scraped enough together for just one scroll and decided to give the youngest child a second chance at life. He soon became the tavern's first owner and called it the Half Measure in memory of his family and the terrible incident with the demon. He had a good life, for a time, got himself married, and always planned to help his brother and sister, though he never got a proper chance. When the demons of Dresden had Dresden surrounded, the poor cripples tried to run for their lives, but they died on the spot. The brother and his wife died a little later at the hands of deserters. There were rumors that the same demon that butchered the family came to Dresden and made a den in the Half Measure. If that's true, I guess he got what he deserved when he freed the city. That's the story. Why'd you like sitting on the counter? 2 reasons, Bias says seriously. Dresden isn't the biggest city, but it still has a few taverns and pubs. To compete with the others, I need people to remember my establishment. And myself. That's the reason. A tavern keeper who sits on the counter definitely sticks out from the others who prefer to stand behind their bars, all dignified. Believe me, you're not the first one to ask. Sooner or later, every customer does. The second reason is the place's atmosphere. People should feel relaxed here. Life near the whirlwind is hard enough. Folks don't go into taverns looking to cause each other more trouble. So I allow certain liberties, myself included. I'm even thinking of hosting an invigorating brawl here on the 5th of every month. I'll let my favorite customers break glasses and swing on the chandelier. What's the feeling here in the city? I can only tell you about my customers. They're mostly working folks, the ones who are rebuilding what's been destroyed, along with soldiers and some merchants. Overall spirits are high as they can be in Mendev, nation of rattling sabers and fluttering banners. Everyone loves it when the demons get their horns, tails, and other parts handed to them. They've already forgotten that we nearly lost Canabras. War is like that. People live for one day and that day is tomorrow, not yesterday. You've been a source of joy and inspiration for everyone as well. Just a simple girl, an ordinary human, not an elf with the wisdom of ages, not an Asimar blessed by heaven, and yet you have defeated the demons and thumbed your nose at the Queen's Knights. That's the kind of story people love. What makes you think I'm a simple lass? This calls for a toast, doesn't it? Glad to hear I'm a source of inspiration. I suspect people who like stories are just jealous of those arrogant nobles and would happily... What makes you think I'm a simple lass? If you're a foreign princess in disguise, drop me a hint or two, will you? That will give me time to work on my bowling and bowing and scraping, or when you finally decide to reveal your true identity to the world. Can you go for that one again? Nope, okay. What do your customers say about my new powers? They talk about you so much that you could fill a hefty tome with theories about your birth alone. You may be the new Herald of Desna, or perhaps her daughter. You were born from a beautiful flower, or you fell to Galarian with the falling stars of Numeria. The earth blossoms under your feet and water turns to ale. Incidentally, if this last one is true, please don't perform that miracle too often or you'll drive down my prices. Forgive me, but your little dragon has caused a stir among the towfolk. She pokes her nose in everywhere. I recently found her in a pickle barrel, and she scolded me for keeping yucky things in the basement instead of goodies. But I don't mind. Small and relatively harmless dragons do attract customers, and they cause a not excessive amount of damage. What do you sell? Axiomatic King Dart, +3. Goggles of Malukio. +10 competence bonus on perception checks. Whenever the wearer performs a critical hit with any bow, the target becomes disoriented for 1d4 rounds, suffering a -4 penalty to initiative, attack, and athletics, and perception checks. Interesting. Ghost Touch Igniting Short Sword. What's igniting? An igniting weapon functions as a flaming weapon that also causes the target to catch fire upon striking it with a successful critical. Targets have to pass a fortitude saving throw or suffer 1d6 flaming damage each round and can make a save each round to put out the fire. Pretty good sword. Anything else? Potions. Mulled wine. Mix of spices and holy water. Purifying solutions as well. Oh, we'll take mulled wine. And open up my recipe lists. Okay.
A simple smile goes
Grey
a long
boar.
way. Uh-huh.
How can I help you?
Before you send a dwarf, he has a stern, rugged features and looks to be well armed. He fills his pipe with tobacco from Garand, lights it, and blows out a cloud of smoke. Finally, he addresses you in a deep, dignified voice. Who are you?
Don't you remember our last meeting? The name is Greybor. I'm an assassin for hire. But I suspect you're not here for small talk. Are you in need of my services?
You tried to kill that huge demon at the Battle of Dresden, but you failed. What happened?
Yes, that was a failure. It was supposed to be a clean job. An anonymous client, a worthy target, a substantial fee. But the client insisted that I use an enchanted dagger they provided. I was assured that a single hit would be enough to finish the job, but it didn't work as expected. It was a serious blow to my reputation. And my reputation is everything to me.
I want to hire you for a dragon hunt.
A large adult female? The one that's been snatching people and carrying them off? I've heard about her. That's an impressive target. I can take this job, but only if we do it soon. I'm expecting a new assignment from my regular client, and I'll have to leave as soon as I have the orders. And of course, you should know that this dragon will not come cheaply. 2,500 gold, paid in advance.
How about a small discount?
Let's think this through. Are there lots of assassins in this town who have the valuable experience of subduing dragons and are willing to work for you? Will I lose any profit by protracted haggling? Will you? Is there any chance that someone less competent than I am will be able to locate your target as efficiently as I would? No, I don't think so. There is absolutely no reason for me to give you any discounts. 2,500 gold is an honest price for the head of a fire breather.
Fine. Let's hire you.
Excellent. Let's get down to business. It's no easy thing to take down a dragon when you don't have wings, so you'll need to follow my lead. The best thing would be to catch her by surprise in her lair, but we need to find it first. Of course, since she doesn't leave tracks, that might be tricky, but I think I have a solution. We need to go west of Dresden, to the Grimwood Forest. The dragon's been seen there often. According to the scouts, this is likely because there's still some wild game left in those parts. We'll set up an ambush there. I hope I can rely on your honesty. I understand that on our way to the dragon, there may be other fights or places we need to visit for various reasons. That's to be expected. However, should I see that you are deliberately delaying the contract, or that you're dragging me off to assault some demon citadel instead of going after the dragon, we will have to revise the terms of our agreement.
Okay, fine. Does that mean you're not a party member? You are now a party member, Greybor. So what do you actually use? Dwarven War Axes. You dual wield Crushing Cold, plus 3 Adamantine Frost Axe. What's an Adamantine weapon? Literally useless. Absolutely useless, okay. Mined from rocks that fell from the heavens, this ultra-hard metal adds to the quality of a weapon or suit of armor. Adamantine is so costly that weapons made from it are always of masterwork quality. I guess it's mostly pointless. You're a hand axe? That's a Dwarven War Axe. A hand axe is a finesse weapon, interesting. Put that in your main hand. Oh, hang on, you've got plenty of feats, haven't you? You've got improved fighting on. What do you got here? You're getting study level +2, natural armor +1, giant strength +4, protection +1. What can I give you? Using light armor studded. You are a Slayer. You're level 9 Slayer. What have you actually got? Let's have a look. 2-weapon fighting, weapon focus on axes. Oh, okay. You have axes. So maybe you could essentially use one of the great axes. The great axe we got before, you could possibly use that, although we did sell it. Keep an eye open for new things. Accomplished Sneak Attacker, Hammer the Gap, Power Attack, Double Slice, which means you add your damage to the offhand, Weakening Wound, Improved Weapon Fighting, Slow Reactions. Whenever, yeah, okay, that works. You also have your Study Target 2, Study Target Swift, I think. Yeah, Swift Action. 3d6 Sneak Attack damage. Next level you'll get Advanced Talents. I'm not going to level you right now because of Christ, I don't even want to think about... I have not thought about you at all. Norgorber, Mercenary, Basic. Neutral, True Neutral, wow, True Neutral, Dwarven Slayer. Oh yeah, hang on, I need to revisit this, don't I? Because people leveled up. Oh, you haven't got the spell slots. Your wisdom isn't high enough for you to memorize spells with this level. Interesting. I can, yeah, your wisdom is not high enough to memorize spells with that level. I don't think. Not yet, anyway. You, Phantasmal Killer. Phantasmal Killer. Yeah, it's fine. You don't care about any of that. Fire Snake, called Monster, you get... What's real? Instant enemy, obviously. Camellia. You're gonna get... Full on Resto, maybe? Or more Cure Critical. Go to full Resto, and you take... You got Cold Lightning Storm, Breath of Life. Oh, oh yeah, absolutely, because with Charisma. Yeah, you're right. Huh. I mean, she should have a high enough Charisma to be able to cast, surely? You're correct, Ring Song. Sorry, you are very much correct. They cast with Charisma. Their Charisma is their spell casting thing. But yeah, this should... Hang on, let's look at this. Look at the character progression for you. You gain level 3 spells, but you actually gain no slots for it until the next level. That's amusing. You absolutely gain the spells there, but you gain no slots for it. Huh. There's nothing to do with her skill level, it's just that she doesn't get any slots for it. That is weird. Okay, I guess. The end will be 433. Level 10 is a weird level. Level 10 is a very weird level. Where was I? I was with Camellia. You got Breath of Life, you got Cold Lightning Storm. Flame Strike. Flame Strike is not relevant. True Sing for 10 minutes. Nature's Ally 5 is a natural manticore. Another breath of life. Right, you're maxed out. Yeah, I've got to get back to you. Death wards, all the death wards, do all the death wards in the world, and you're gonna get... Flame Strike again doesn't really work for you, because... issues. Slay Living, maybe? Although you haven't focused on beating stuff. Righteous Might. Again, you don't want to get any bigger because you're on a boar. Angelic might be useful. Angelic Aspect. That could be helpful. You got a Raise Dead. You're also going to have a Breath of Life, I guess. Genie Kind. Greater Command. Vine Trap. Take a breath of life. Take another breath of life. Regil get nothing. You don't get anything. Ivu. You got some cantrips, and we don't get anything. Cool. Right. So let's get back to the. I think we've spoken to everyone, and we haven't actually gone to the prison yet. That's something we haven't done. Is gone to the prison. Then we'll head back to the table. We spent all of today having A, massive crash, and B, just talking about Dresden. Ooh, hang on. Hello. Let's do that first before I forget. Then we'll go into the prison, then we'll go back into the Citadel. Maybe you have a rest. A singular piece of glass. Clearly that was vital.
No time for idling.
Commander's banner. In the vicinity of the Valor, the commander grants the commander fast healing equal to twice the mythic rank. I've got fast healing 6 at the moment. Nice. What do we have down here? A Beezor and a Demon Heart. In one of these cages should be the corpse of Staunton Vane. I think. I thought the corpse of Staunton Vane was down here. Is it irrelevant if does it get removed if you're not a lich? I thought the whole point was the corpse of Staunton Vane gets stored here. No, we buried him, didn't we? We buried him. You can store him here, but we chose to bury him. We chose to bury him with full honors. But you could take his body to the crypt, to the prison, and I assume if you were a lich, raise him. Ooh, hang on. Hello. A spiral shell. Right. Most of the day was just talking around here. I figured it was going to be. I figured we were going to basically do everything we need to do in Dresden now. We haven't finished everything exactly because we still got to do stuff over here. But we've advanced the stuff we need to advance. We need to do where is it? Middle game. Form the staff council, build the main stables in Dresden. We'll get some of these sorted out, shall we? Got a couple of these to do. Because the stables will take a while to build, we can probably queue that in now as well. So if you go into here, we'll queue up the main stables. So we have here, that's the view. Built. We have the smithy there and the smithy is there and the arsenal there, right? Yeah, so which is which? Can we tell? Hello? Main barracks is over there. Yeah, I get that much. What is this one? And why am I pixel hunting? That's the arsenal, which means that's AC, and that's the... Got a weird positioning. This feels like this is definitely a bug. This is the smithy, right? Which is +1 to attack bonus for all trainable units in there and adjacent buildings. And that is the supply center, which increases materials points by 3. Okay, well, build. We shall build the main stables adjacent to the smithy, so you get an additional attack for you. That'll build in 5 days. Cool. So that's now going to take over. Let's get ourselves a relic online. Soul Shear, the Phylactery of Stevanius the Rotten, the Unholy Symbol of Rovagug, the Fate of Chilroar's Tide and Tusks, and the Crest of the Fallen Knight. You know what? Go for Chilroar's... You know what? Okay. We have to work on a relic as for one of the quests. Do you all have a preference in which I should do? We have the Crest of the Fallen Knight, the Chilroar's Hide and Tusks, the Unholy Symbol of Rovagug, the Phylactery of Stevanius the Rotten, or the Fate of the Soul Shear was the weapon that Staunton Vane was using. The rest of the stuff we found along the way. Unholy Symbol sound like fun. Okie dokie. It'll cost 1,000 of this and 100 of that. I've got plenty, right? Hang on. How much have I got? I've got 29,000 in... Yeah, so we got plenty. So we'll get that done. Nope. Unholy symbol of Rovagug. You issue decree. 5 days. 5 days to do that. Other orders to Irabeth. Give her orders to. You're gonna give her orders to act with her soldiers. I think. What do we have here? Make sure we don't. Studying the Sword of Valor. Lost Scouts. Orders to Irabeth. Irabeth's breakdown, which occurred before the Assault on Dresden, still haunts her mind. She should be reminded of what she was. Yeah, so we basically have to give her orders to. We'll give you orders to. Can you do all 3 of them at once? Is there any downside to doing all of them at the same time? Can we? Yeah, let me quickly back out real fast. I'm going to save. I should have saved before even starting this stuff. But I wonder, if I can issue all these decrees at once, is there a reason not to? Save here real fast. Is there a reason to not issue all these decrees at the same time? They'll all take time to go through. Lost Scouts, issue? Yeah. Studying the Sword of Valor? Okay, it's 1 degree per stat. Right, I remember now. It's 1 decree per stat. So logistics is currently busy doing the Lost Scouts. Military is currently busy doing orders to Irabeth. Diplomacy is currently busy doing that. What's left? Leadership. Can't expand Bastion. We can rank out a staff council, which is what we needed to do. We needed to do the staff council anyway. So forming the staff council. One can command a small unit alone, but to manage an army, one needs a staff council surrounded by experienced advisors. The commander will be able to make decisions affecting the life and morale of the entire army. We'll make a staff council. And I guess we have to wait for a day to pass, right? I guess we're waiting for a day to pass. Maps. Might as well rest if you're waiting for a day to pass. There's no reason not to. People are gonna get their spells back anyway. They gotta reset a bunch of stuff. Might as well have a full-on proper rest. Alchemy. Day renew cook. With some help from Aru. Sure, why not? Cook us. Moss Potage is the +3 to all skill checks, which is very helpful. And also Greyboar's favorite dish. Nenio's favorite dish, that gives Nenio a +5 bonus to something checks, I think. Regal's favorite dish, we haven't figured out what that does to you yet, I don't think. Naspet is Greyboar's favorite dish, Lan's favorite dish, Daren's favorite dish, Camelia's favorite dish, mulled wine. Drinking mulled wine provides you with a +4 cooking bonus to all skill checks for a day. Additionally, all armor penalties on skill checks are reduced by 2 for a day. Oh wow. You also need some skill berries for that, but that's a pretty good... That's basically an improvement on Moss Potage. Other than Greyboar's favorite dish situation. That's a DC of 20, so you need a 6... You have a 75% chance of success. Seasoned Tanks and Wings... Gives you 10 temporary hit points per person. You know what? I'm curious about this one. So let's find out. Scroll scribing. Now you can scribe your scrolls. Because now that you have your scroll stuff, it's useful for you. Give us a level 4 scroll. Oh, you can't. Level 3 scroll, fine. What do I want to do? Scroll Phantasmal Killer. Scroll of Greater Heroism. Scroll of Battering Blast, Scroll of Displacement, Scroll of Fireball, Scroll of Rage, Scroll of Heroism. It's caster level is not 5. Caster level is going to be the full 10, I think. But I can just do this, right? It lowers the DC. All it does is lower the DC. All it does. It doesn't actually lower anything else. It lowers the casting time, but if Nenio's the one casting, it's irrelevant because Nenio always casts at her own caster level. So you could craft at the lowest possible DC and still be irrelevant because she'll cast it at her level. Regardless. Scroll of Spike Pit. I have decided. Cast that. It does a depth of 10 feet per ticket, so it's going to be 50 feet, which is max anyway. Sure. Do that. You cannot fail, 100%. Go. Rest. Let some time pass. See if that's enough time for anything. Rich girl, quick question. What do you see in this picture? Just some ink blots. It looks like a heart lying in a pool of blood. Why are you showing me something so? Why are you showing me something so vile? Ah, Camellia. Mospatage success. What does Greybore think about Mospatage? Never mind. Here we go. Captain Harmatan. Hail, Commander! Before you an aged, yet fit and sturdy Garundi stands at attention. His dark skin has an earthy tone to it, and crystals spark forth where his head and eyebrows should be, clearly identifying him as an Oread. Captain Harmatan, chair of your staff council by order of Her Majesty Queen Galfrey, here to deliver a report. I'm on this council too. Sela salutes briskly. We'll be racking our brains on how to improve troop morale. I reckon the key is to back up our words with actions, lead your soldiers by example, and they'll be eager to follow. Drawing on my experience as a paralictor, my advice is to maintain a calculated moderation in every regard, be it incentive or penalty, and to be decisive. We have no need for doubts or turmoil. I'm doomed to be your advisor, but you know what that means? That you are doomed to listen to my advice. To start off, here's an incredibly novel and deep thought for you. Loyalty, passion, and morale, all of these things can easily be bought with money. Commander, permission to report. We've encountered a problem. Although we're still getting volunteers, we're now seeing cases of desertion. Many who joined the Dresden campaign believe that their duty has been fulfilled with the victory, and they are not keen on staying in the garrison. Those from Canabras wish to return home and rebuild their ruined city. Lastly, there are those who are afraid of lingering in a place where demons might show up with a retaliatory expedition at any moment. My suggestion is to improve living conditions for the privates, raise their pay, give them extra rations, and reward those who have distinguished themselves on the battlefield, with commendations and gifts. Soldiers don't want to leave armies that appreciate them. I feel for those folks, but we have to convince them to stay. I think we might get some help from the servants of the gods. They'll tell the soldiers that the danger has not yet passed and inspire them to keep up the fight against evil. As long as the wound is open, the whole world is in danger. We can't just go home and live life like we used to, no matter how badly we want that to happen. Most of the Crusaders are volunteers, but they have no right to subvert military discipline. That kind of attitude is tantamount to treason, regardless of who expresses it. We have to clearly identify the instigators, arrest them, and administer harsh punishment to make an example of them. This problem is quite simply solved with coin, but handing money out to privates is practically throwing it away. We need to pay the officers handsomely, then they'll figure out how to raise their subordinates' morale. Tell me, Captain, what does the Staff Council do? In short, we make sure that whatever orders are given, they are executed properly. Our job is to keep high the soldiers' morale, so they always follow their officers' commands without question. As for the officers themselves, we look out for any unseemly or incompetent types who subvert the troops' trust. I have questions for the Council. Understood, Commander, ask away. Sela, what do you bring to the Council? It's pretty self-explanatory. We're not fighting for a sawmill here. This is a crusade against the Abyss. When you're up against demons, you bring a paladin. That's a rule that's tried and very much true. Regil, what kind of help can I expect to get from you on this council? I have extensive experience in being in command, and as a Hell Knight I possess a firmness that some of your other officers may be lacking. The essence of my council is not to spoil your troops, but to maintain their discipline strategically. Amidst the chaos of war, a general has to be a beacon of order and purpose for their soldiers. They will be just as grateful to receive rewards or lashes from a general, and most importantly, they won't even think to disobey their orders. Zarin, what are you doing in the council? Mostly I'm just waiting for it to end, but since I have little choice, I'll give you some advice on how to charm your subordinates. Be they people of importance or simple commoners. I'll tell you the biggest secret right away. Free. Money. Gold has the most miraculous power there is. Captain Harmatan, why did the Queen appoint you to preside over this council? I'd been serving in the Osirian infantry for 100 years, fighting for 3 pharaohs. And after I joined the Crusaders, I served Her Majesty Galfrey for 2 more decades. I dare to hope I've gained decent experience over those years. I see. Let us discuss our options in detail before we call it quits for the night, shall we? As you command. Sela, what's your plan? The situation is not that dire. Morale is high, and we just won a major victory. So some have let down their guards. We'll have to call for priests and paladins to get it through to the volunteers that it's still early for celebration. If they leave their homes today, prison will fall again tomorrow, and the day after, the demons will show up on their doorstep. Servants of the gods are indeed masters of sweet-talking others into dying free of charge, all through pretty words. But when the choice comes down to the inspired preaching or homemade pies, 9 out of 10 will look for comfort in their home and at their table. Their incentive needs to be more substantial than wasted breath. Regal, what do you suggest? There is no place in the army for the mindset of playing soldier today and then going home tomorrow. These dangerous ideas must be suppressed with the utmost harshness. We'll identify the most vocal rebel-rousers and exact punishment on them as an example to others. They may be volunteers, but they join the ranks of the Crusaders. We can't abet their rejection of their responsibilities, or we'll be heading toward complete chaos, and therefore defeat. That's a great plan. If you want your soldiers to run back home twice as fast, they came here on their own volition. We must convince them to stay, not terrorize them into fighting. Darren, your opinion, please? Our forces are in good spirits. It's just that the euphoria of victory has gone to a few heads. No one can sober them up quickly than the officers, especially those lower rank. We'll give our dear oafs, all those sergeants and corporals, a bonus on the sly, and promise to sweeten the deal once they've convinced the volunteers to stay. Perhaps they will do so over a beer mug, perhaps with a broken nose. Why bother solving problems yourself when you can push them off onto someone you will pay? Your bought loyalty will soon run out. Your bought loyalty will run out even sooner than your gold. Once soldiers turn into profiteers, instead of following orders, they start praising them. They'll wonder whether or not it's worth their while to obey their general. I hardly need to explain the effect this will have on discipline. Captain Harmon, what would you advise? The volunteers believe that we've almost won. Great! Let's not ruin this pretty illusion. Instead, we'll use it to our advantage. We'll increase rations and pay for the privates, rewarding the most distinguished with commendations and gifts. Who would abandon the victors when they provide you with good food and even better coin? It's naive to expect that troops won't understand that we'll be just trying to appease them. An army cannot stand if it's held together by handouts and desperate promises. We shouldn't lie to our soldiers. If you build up flimsy illusions now, the demons will shatter them later. Those fighting alongside us must recognize the seriousness of the situation instead of celebrating victory when war has just begun. Thank you, everything is clear. It's not though, is it? I ask you, my council of chat. I'm leaning towards Sela here. But what do you think? I don't promise to do what you wish, but I promise to at least listen to what you have to say. If you have anything to say. If anyone's still paying attention. Quickly tab out. Sela. Sela is what I'm leaning towards. I like Regal. He's quite. Regal is stern. However, my character is chaotic good, and Regal is lawful evil. I think there's definitely a playthrough where you completely go Regal's way, because Regal is never unreasonable. I think Regal is extremely strict, but he's not a dick for the sake of being a dick like Darren is. I actually quite like Regal. He just doesn't work with this specific character in mind. That's the only problem. I don't think it works with this specific character in mind. Other than that, Regal is quite sensible. He's probably one of the most sensible people we have on staff. Darren, I don't feel it's useful for Darren. It's like weird. I'm not doing Darren. Darren's not doing. It's basically between Harmatan, Sela, and Regal at the moment. That's basically it. Hang on, one sec. I think I'm gonna go with Sela then. See how it works out. Sela, mobilize the priests and the paladins to raise awareness. I wish I could see what if unlocks the. Okay, whoa. Okay, hold the phone. Pause everything. This gives me more information. Glory to the heroes. Repeatable every 30 days. Increases crusade morale by 5 to 10. Okay. Regal. Hunting down mutiny. Increases crusade morale by 16 to 25. Recruitment growth for trainable units reduces by 10%. The cost of recruiting mercenaries increases. So it is a huge boost to morale with a shorter repeat time, but it makes you recruit less people in the meantime, and mercenaries cost more. Darren? Bribes for officers? Increases by 15 to 20, so way more than Sela, but costs me 4,000 finance points every month. And Captain Harmatan. 10 to 15 every 20 days for 300 materials. That's a lot of material. I just spent 100 on making this the stables, and that took me down to 600. That's be half my remaining materials. And that's what I've got so far over the course of the whole campaign. I don't think I can spend 300 right now, so not going to do you. Regio's going to lower my amounts. 4,000 finance is actually not bad. I thought there were going to be bigger effects. I thought there was going to be a more massive thing. If it's just these effects, we can think about this as closed. 4,000 finance. We had 29 to 49. We had a large amount of finance before. We had like several tens of thousands, I think. So 4,000 not a bad point. Our morale is currently quite high as far as I understand it. Our morale is already pretty strong. If we get the same choice every time it happens, I'm okay with that. I'm gonna go Sela, because our morale was pretty high when we arrived. And this is the free option. This costs money, this costs materials points, that costs soldiers. And I think our morale is pretty high, so we're gonna go for Sela. Sure thing. Faith has always helped me in my darkest hours, and it'll help our soldiers too. We just need to talk to them from the heart. Thank you, Commander. Should any other difficulties arise that require your attention, I shall deliver a new report promptly. Maximize all crusade stats. Okay, hang on, just quick check then. Quick check. Yeah, so one can command a small unit alone, but to manage a small army, yeah, well, we just did that. So yeah, morale is high. Our morale is maxed, in fact. If we had lost a lot of morale beforehand, I can see that would be a penalty, but we don't need that at the moment. I don't think I can actually do anything else right now, because that's logistics is currently busy for another few days. Events, no events. Ooh, frenemies, visitors from the past. Ooh, hang on. You know what? I can't think about this now. I'm kind of tired, and my voice is going. Having to read everything out. So I'll be back tomorrow night to carry on with this, but hype. We're pretty much done. We're going to finish up. We'll finish up the management stuff here next time, and then we'll go out into the world. We've got to go we've got to go hunt the dragon with Greyboar. I'm assuming you're going to have to do it now. Here's that time again. It is late. It goes fast. It does go fast. I can tell when it's happening because I can feel it in my throat, pretty much. So yeah, we've got to go. We've got the main three things we've got to find here, which are find out where the attack is coming from, find the missing crusaders. We just issued the order already. That's going to happen anyway. These things are the ones we have to focus on right now, and the dragon hunt, but the dragon hunt is not immediate. Above the clouds, we've got to go somewhere else as well. Events that unfold there. More than nothing is nameless ruins that's happening as well. Middle game, yeah. So maximize all crusade stats. To achieve victory in the war, Commander and her advisors need to comprehensively modernize the war machine known as the Crusade. Every aspect is important. Discipline, supplies, alliances, and combat strength. It's a little big and then you get to one. When did your game start? Starting later than usual today, isn't it? Or tonight, or earlier tomorrow, whatever words. Yeah, so that's the main stables is building. The relic is currently being improved, and where is it? And the battered spirit thing is currently being done as well. The other one is tomorrow and starts a lot earlier. Yeah, you tend to abandon me. Right, we'll save there and we'll call it there. I'm gonna go rest my voice. But yeah, hype. I'm really enjoying this. Going back to management and figuring out what's gonna happen. But I will catch you all. Have my own demons to smash. Yeah, have fun smashing your demons, casting your feeble minds. I will be back tomorrow night with more Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous. Let's see if we can find someone else to raid. And I'll go take my lemon honey ginger tea. Thank you for hopping by, everyone. Dad Rest is doing some Noita. Other than that, that's the only thing. The only person going right now is Dead Wrestler with some Noita. Let's go and raid Dead Wrestler then. Dead Wrestler is pretty sweet, yeah. Dead Wrestler. How you spell wrestler? That is how you spell wrestler. Good. Right, folks. I'll catch you all tomorrow. Send out the raid announcement, more just so you can go salute when you get to Dead Wrestler's chat. And There's no better emote for the known sub ones. It's really quite annoying. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow night, and take care of yourselves, and we'll carry on then. I'll be back on Monday. Monday should be GTFO for those who are caring about that sort of thing. Monday should be GTFO again, but that comes on Monday. Catch you all next time, folks. See you then. Bye bye.